sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel.
So it wasn't enough, is what we see. Your book says in 1 that they committed harlotry with the Moabites, or the Moabs, right? Now, we go to it's almost now you're going to an extreme. It's not enough that the Israelites have done something. Now you've got some boldness. Now what you need to see is this boldness that you got, if you can, and you got a piece of that paper. I want you to see page 3. I want you to see this person. And I'll talk about him later on, but I want you to see this person. Who this person is. And he will pop up later on in the text. But down in 3, I said the third paragraph says,
Zimri.
Yeah, see it?
Zimri, a leader in the tribe of Simeon, not only attended the adulterous feast, but brought a Midianite woman named Cosby back to the camp.
I would say Kobe, but it's Kobe.
Right.
It's
My
Kobe.
Bible has K and some have C. So, okay.
So it's Kobe, that last.
Kobai. Okay.
It's
Kobai.
That's an I is a long vowel. So it's I, Kobe. But I said Kobe, so Kobe. But it's Kobe. But go ahead.
Okay. Kobe back to the camp of Israel and openly took her into his tent right before the eyes of Moses and the weeping Israelites at the tabernacle door. This was a brazen, high-handed sin for which there was no forgiveness. Zimri was a prince in Israel, and Kobai was the daughter of a prince.
Now repeat that. Zimri was what?
A prince in
So
Israel.
Zimri was of what status? You got to see that. And then Kobai is what?
Was the
daughter, so she's a status too.
So she's a what?
Daughter of the prince.
That's right. So you got to
Yes,
see that. So why would that need to be handled so quickly? Because in your Bible, then it says she did this, what, in 6, in front of Moses, right? Look at it in 6. It says she did it in front of Moses and in the sight of what? All the congregation. Everybody sees it, right? It is considered and today we would consider that a what? Public sin. That's a public sin, whether you know it or not. You brought this Midianite woman when God told you to have nothing to do with this. As a matter of fact, you fighting these people. And now you've got this Midianite woman now you need to look at this. She's not his wife. You got to see this. She's not his wife, but yet she's brought before, Calvary, bring it again.
Moses and the congregation. And
No,
the brethren,
no, come back up to 6 says what?
and indeed, one of the children of Israel came into the presence of his brother, the Midianite woman, and presented to his brother the Midianite woman in the sight of Moses and in the sight of the congregation.
So where then would they be? That's the question you have to ask yourself. So where then would they have been?
No tabernacle?
Zimri and Kobai, where would they have been? Mainly presenting them to Moses. Watch this. We know they went down the street. So where were they?
within the.
They were in the congregation, but where would they have been?
Well, it
I want you to
It
really
says the
get at
tabernacle.
at the door.
No, not the tabernacle. So where would they have been?
In public.
What'd you say?
In public.
Who?
The tent of meeting at the.
Oh, we know
doorway.
tent. That's where they coming to. See, they're coming to the tent of meetings, because that's where the congregation, everybody's at. But where did they come from? See, that's the question. We know where they're going, but where did they come from? And then your answer is in 1. Your Bible said what in 1?
Now Israel remained in Acacia Grove,
Come on.
and the people began to commit harlotry to the woman of Moab.
So then, how do they commit harlotry? What do they do that they're called harlots? Sexual relate. Come on, guys, y'all gotta know that. So then there's a sexual relationship. So Zimri and Kobai came into the tent of meeting. Where did you come from? Out of the tent. Would you hear me? Where did you come from? Out of your tent. That's where you came from. What are the two of you all doing in a tent? And here's the question. And who would be at the tent of meetings? Their parents. So who was there with them? No one. You see this? No one. This is what your writers bringing to your attention. Here they come out of nowhere, and here they are. It's not adultery, they're fornicators. So what do? They came from nowhere. Or did they come out of somewhere? They came out of tents. And they're not through. You got to see this. Because back to your 6 again, says what?
So indeed, one of the children of Israel came and presented to his brother, a Midianite woman, in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping.
Who were what? Weeping at the door of the tabernacle. Why are they weeping at the door of the tabernacle? Don't watch this. Keep what I said, and this will start to make sense. Because if you don't, then all you see is, well, they're crying because they've sinned against God or because they've done something. It didn't say that. As a matter of fact, they were getting along in the presence of God. God is ready to take them on what? Take them to the promised land, right? God is on his way to take them to the promised land, right? Right? So we don't see no sin because God is ready. He didn't took them around and around and around, right? Now he's ready to take them over. So now Moses has called them, everybody's tent to the tent meeting, and basically to give instructions on what we're going to do. But now you're weeping. Why are you weeping at the tabernacle? Why are you weeping at that door of the tabernacle? It's very simple. Who just came in? Who just came in? That's right, Zimran and Kobai just came in. So wait a minute, what do you mean? They didn't come in, you go first, and I'll go. They didn't come in, when they came in together. They came in as lovers. That's how they came in. So when they came, so it wasn't right. So they came in. You've been right over 2 or 3 times.
So they still thinking.
Steve, you've been right over 2 or 3 times. Buzz?
I thought I was feeling a little numb.
Okay. But they've been right. We're back at 25-6. So what did you say, Tiffany?
No, I was just thinking of the 24,000 after that has already happened.
That hasn't taken place yet.
Oh, okay.
I gave you all that up ahead.
Okay.
But that hasn't taken place. This is what's going on. So we're in the tent of meetings, worshiping God, giving praises to God. God is going to give us instructions where we can now go in. He wants us, we're ready to now to go conquer the promised land. And then out of nowhere, here comes Zimri and Kobai. Here they come. Where are you being? Because your parents are here. Did you see it says the congregation? What is he? Wouldn't he be part of the congregation? Watch this. He'd be more than just part of the congregation. He's a leader. He's a prince, right?
Yeah, he's a prince.
Right? So then he would be a leader. So if anybody that would need to be there would be who? Him, the leaders. Because because he's the leader of the tribe of Zebulun. I mean, of Simeon. So he would certainly have needed to be there. Y'all doing a meeting and I don't show up. If you know what I'm saying? Stop and think about it. So then something's going on. And that something that's going on is, here's all of a sudden they pop up. Watch this. You popped up late for the meeting, right? But you didn't just pop up late for the meeting.
Popped up with this one.
You popped up with a woman. And she ain't nobody's daughter over here. You know she's a what? Midianite. You know that she's a Midianite. And so, what have you been doing? Because I stated, who's there? Who's there? Everybody. Didn't you say the congregation? Everybody's there. But you. Everybody's there but you. Why aren't you there? And here's your answer. Your little stinky thing walked in with you. Your little whore just walked in with you.
So they were weeping because of that?
Yeah, so it's a sad sight. It is a very sad sight. Here's one of the tribal leaders walks in and, oh my God, do we really know what's going on? The weeping is not the ideal of tears. It's the ideal of sadness. This is a sad sight to see. This is where they're at. The congregation says, this is horrible. How horrible this is to see, watch his parents are there, to see your son come into that door with some loose woman. Stop and think about it. And it just so happens she's loose and she's also a prince, a daughter of a prince. She's got some prestige. Go ahead.
My Bible says while they were weeping, she was brought in while they were weeping. It says, then behold, one of the sons of Israel came and brought to his relatives a Midianite woman in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the sons of Israel while they were weeping at the doorway of the tent of meeting.
Why is yours wow?
Yeah, mine says
Everybody says who's. That's right. Who's, okay. That's what I said. So we're not going to get up into the who's and the wows. That's why I left it over.
So it almost sounds like they were already weeping before the woman came in.
You said wow, you used the word wow.
So it's still saying, it's like, okay, were they already weeping in them? You know, it wasn't just the sight of her that caused them to weep, is that?
or they knew that she was in his tent.
Okay.
You know,
It's
Right.
it's make lamentation, it's mourn, it could also be complain or be wail.
Well, they could be mourning the death of the leaders, right?
Well, you got those leaders out. But Moses has brought them to the tent to do what? To weep?
No.
What's he brought them to the tent for?
Aren't they on their way out?
Yes,
So he's
you're ready
giving
to
them
go to the work.
directions.
To the
He's giving them
promised land.
orders.
To the promised land.
Right.
So, but when I see that, but like I said, the sadness, could it also be when you weigh this out? Who didn't come? Who didn't make it?
Aaron.
No, not just Aaron. Who didn't make it? Not just Aaron. Who didn't make it? Let's do it. Who didn't make it?
The Spirit's saying, don't shut me out.
No, something more, somewhat more important. Who didn't make it? And I know you would consider them very important. Who didn't make it? And you would consider them very important.
not the leaders of the tribe.
Oh, you consider them more than just leaders. Who didn't make it? Who? Oh, it'd be more than the elders. Who would? You consider them much more than important than that.
God?
No, he's there.
So what are you, so,
Huh? What'd you say?
Family.
That's it, Renee.
what?
Your mother, hey, there's a generation that
Oh, yeah.
didn't come.
Uh-huh.
That's your mama and your daddy. And if you had brothers and sisters over that age, they didn't make it. I told you much more than your elders and Aaron and all that. You start to think about it. Because I didn't make it, you sad. But you more sadder because
They didn't make it.
they didn't, your parents didn't make it. So you got a weeping, but as you see two people now coming through that door, we were supposed to be all there to get instructions. One thing about it, when they were called, when worship was called, it wasn't no, well, you go ahead, I'll feel like making it, you go ahead and make it. No, everybody was there. It ain't like today. Everybody was there. When Moses called worship, everybody was there. Remember, what would happen? You'd be kicked out. Remember? Okay, don't worry about you didn't make it. But I had a call. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Or either God struck you dead. Hear me? One or the other. Because what is God doing? Setting precedents. He's trying to get them to understand He is God. He's trying to get them to understand you do what I tell you to do, or else. This is serious. What can you imagine if He was to do that in the church? Can you imagine? I said, be here, you don't. He'd probably come up to me and say, Brother Johnson, I want you to know they won't be making it no more. You see how serious this is? So watch this. So we got some women, we got Zamron, and we got Kobai that has came in. They're two prominent people. They're not just somebody just walking in. They're two prominent people. Can't remove that. And so now watch your story. We'll get some follow farther than this. But watch your story. 7 says what? Back in your Bible.
Now when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand.
And so watch this. Now we got to find out who this Phinehas is. So watch this. Watch this. So then, let's go down. Back at 3. Aaron's what?
Aaron's
See?
grandson.
That's his grandson. See that? That's his grandson. That's whose grandson? Aaron's. Who's been brought up? Who's been brought up the right way?
Enoch.
You better know it. He's been brought up to where he's reverencing God, where he loves God, where, watch this, what do? Something takes place. Well, you got to forgive them. Guys, you just, we all do wrong. I can see us coming up with this garbage. Not this young man. This young takes his javelin. Watch him. He says what? He takes his javelin and do what? Come on.
In his hand,
Come on.
and he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through the man of Israel and the woman through her body.
So watch this. He takes a javelin. And what does he do? He goes into the tent and he tosses the javelin. By looking at it, you think it hit one, and then he pulled it out and hit the other. It went straight through him and hit her. Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. It does when you, what?
They were in the air.
It does when you're having a sexual relationship. Told you this ain't no joke. You just came out of your tent and you went into the tent of meetings, and your parents are disgusted. They can't believe this. You're here. And now we've got an issue. You over here kissing one another, and we've got an issue. The question is, he looks up and says, are y'all going to do something? That's what that comes down to. Are you going to do something, or are you just going to let this walk? I told you, we the church do this so often here lately. The man was caught, and he had, and watch this, and he had and the girl he was with came in with the baby and said it was his. You know what I'm talking about? And said the baby was his. And you know the reaction of that church? Nothing. Well, then you got to get an elder to get up and say, well, his brother Crow has decided that he's going to step down. Really? You now have been exposed to sin in the camp. And what do? You don't stop the sin. You say, well, you know, we all sin, Calvin.
That's a fact.
Come on. Well, you know what? The brothers have to take care of that. Oh, I can hear it. Wait a minute. Brother Thompson just did something that was wrong. It was brought to the light. You, watch this, proof is in the putting the babies in her hands. And you allow this to go on when there should have been the Spirit throne. Hear me? There should have been the congregation say, get out of here. But we got to have mercy and compassion. Oh, I can hear it. We don't understand when compassion needs to take place. We don't understand when we are to have mercy. You are to get rid of that sin. Get it out of the camp. Yes.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we look at the people and not the sin.
Come on.
And you could, the people stay, you still got sin. And that sin run dormant.
That's that.
And that's
25. So watch this. So look, this is what's going on here. I told you this thing is big because it started in your 25:1. This is how it started. Sin does what? It grows. You have to cut it out. You have to get rid of sin. Or see the slightest ounce of sin, a smidgen of it, will do what? Will grow again. Will start all over again. It'll start a new growth and keep going. It is determined to do something, watch this, to you, but it's determined to do something for it. Sin wants to do what? Keep living. Cancer wants to do what? Keep living. It wants to keep living. So it eats up every tissue around it because it wants to keep living. So does sin. Sin wants to keep living. And so we've got a situation. We got a grandson that's looking at, let's see, last time I checked, Moses is there. Last time I checked, not just Moses, but there are other elders that are there. Oh, y'all got to see this. Could it have been Moses wasn't given enough time? We don't know. But the minute sin is recognized, it needs to be dealt with. Where we're at 7, you didn't finish reading it all. So I want you to read it all now. Was it 8?
Yeah.
8. Yes, 8. So 8 says what? Finish reading it all.
went after the man of Israel
Come on.
into the tent and thrust both of them through. The man of Israel and the woman through her body.
That's all you were saying?
So the plague was.
Yeah,
so
got it.
the
That's
stopped
right.
among the children of Israel.
Right. So I was wondering why maybe that's all he got in his body. Right, that's very important. thing is that him doing what he did stopped that sin. He shut that sin down. Oh, you got to hear me. What's going on? Didn't the men have the Moab women? Watch this. You've got a leader that comes in with a leader. She's a princess. He's a prince. You've got leaders. Let me try this. Why do you think your stock market goes up and go down? How do you think that? What causes that? Anybody know anything about stock? You know how that goes up and goes down? Do you know anything about it? You know how it goes up and goes down? It's very simple. That rich man is sitting at the end. What that rich man is doing is he looking. If he sees something he don't like, you know what he does? He doesn't buy it. He stops it. When he stops it, guess what happens to the market? It goes down, it plunges. Why? Because who's moving the country? The rich. That's what stock does. The rich is moving it. So when the rich say, you know, that's some good stock, I like that, then your S&P goes sky high. Hear me? All of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. You say, what in the world is going on? Well, because all of a sudden they're saying, this is a good, you know, you're in the banking business. You know how that's how that works. They say, hey, look, this is good. So you want to play the game of stocks, then that's what you're doing. You're basically looking at a product and saying, will this product make me some money? Can I put, you know what, if I put, let's say I put $1 in, wait a minute, I know this thing will make me $10 if I do this right, but I got to buy it early. So I go in, and guess what? And so does that rich man say, Lord, have mercy, take this. Let's take this. And guess what? Now that stock is shooting sky high, and guess what? He's walking away. Give you another good example. Here's one that won't go down, but it keeps going up. Your phone. Your cell phone. Your cell phone. I don't care how that cell phone, have you noticed? Every time you go get a cell phone, Jim, you just got the latest one, or you got one coming. The price is higher. What? The price is higher. I said, Jim, what does the cell phone do? You said, got 2 cameras. Now, is that right? Or 5 cameras on it? I'm saying, okay, it's got 5 cameras. So
How many
what?
can you use at one time?
Huh?
How many cameras can you use at one time?
Well, the object of it is to make it so that the picture's clearer, right, Jim? Clearer and cleaner, and you can do things with it.
Yeah, it's cool.
But I'm like, I'm like you, but it doesn't profit me any. Because I don't even take pictures. So it don't profit me none. But that man that's got money is saying, it's a whole lot of folks out there that will hurry up and turn their phones in just to get this. And it ain't got nothing but cameras on it. But they'll do it. So what do? I heard I make an investment. Because it's going to move. Apple is a good one. Apple's products, they don't go down. They keep going up. Why is it so? Because that's a demand. People are gotta have it. Where are you going with this? So is it with sex. I gotta have it. You got 2 rich folks, because they're rich. Zimri and Kobai are very wealthy people. They're the daughter and sons. If they're prince, then that means somebody is what?
A king.
You got it. Think about it. And so if this is going on, and the congregation is there, and you don't do anything to that person that's doing wrong, what will the congregation who is weak, what will they do?
Wrong. Same thing.
Because it's got to be okay. Because the leaders are sitting in here.
Condoning it.
What do you say? Condoning it. Allowing it. So it's got to be okay. I want you to see this. Because it took a lot to become priests. We've got a gentleman by the name of Tues, that's coming along, and what is he doing? He picks up a javelin. I can see him. Remember, the congregation is there. I can see him pick up well, y'all ain't gonna do nothing I ain't. I can see him walking. I can see him going as they have left. I can see him saying, hey, and throwing it. Now, you was kissing one another. I told you how disgusting this is. You brought her before the Israelites. You wanted to show the world that this is your girl. So you're kissing on your girl in front of Israelites, which we know is wrong. You are to have nothing to do with them because they serve other gods. God has made that clear as a bell. When you go into the land, have nothing to do with them. They'll take you away. And you got the nerves. Wait a minute, mom and dad, they know us, but you got the nerves throwing love kisses at one another to the point that you're now kissing one another. So he throws it. And it goes through. Wait a minute. It goes through. But look what it does. That means folks was
Say,
no, folks were dying.
dying.
Look at your next verse.
Says it.
How many folks were
Died in the
dying?
plague with 24,000.
It says what?
And those who died in the plague were 20.
And those who died in the what?
Plague.
When did the plague hit? You see what I'm saying? He just said there was a plague. There wasn't no plague at first. What I'm trying to get you to see is, here's Zimri, and here's Tobiah, and they have brought in a plague. Well, what about the harlotry? The women that they were with.
And he did that on his own, right?
You better know
God
it.
didn't even tell him to do that. He did it on his
You
own.
better know it. But watch this. That's your Proverbs 22 verses 6. Ain't nobody looking at
Proverbs
me.
2:6.
Lord help us.
And they will not depart from it.
What'd you say?
Train up a child in the way he should
Train up
go.
a child what?
In the way he should go.
And the way he should go and what?
And when he is old,
And when he is, that's what I thought you missed him. That's what I want to hear. And when he's old, what's he going to do?
he will not depart
He ain't going nowhere.
from it.
It's there. The seed has been planted. It's there. I've said to you parents who think you done lost your children, if you raise them in the church, don't worry about it. They'll be back. Don't worry about it. They have to, God don't lie. He says they will not depart. What are they doing? Rebelling? That's all. Till God sends something their way. First of all, I'll allow you to do what you're going to do. I'll allow you to go and act a fool. Be a fool. And then when I've had enough, because you are mine, then I'll hit you with something tragic to turn your behind back around and head back to the church and live like you're supposed to live. Because here's the deal. You know the truth. You were taught the truth. You really do know it. You just thought you'd go wild for a minute. But you know the truth. Even in your sin, you knew it wasn't right, but you did it. Here's Zimri that has gotten past that kind of thinking. His conscience is seared, guys.
Yeah.
He wants to do what he wants to do. Here's Aaron's grandson that doesn't confront Moses nor any of the leaders. He simply, while he's there, he had to see it. While he was there, he had to be in the congregation. While he was there, he leaves. He's headed to kill. Can you imagine? Oh, y'all don't hear me. he ain't Zimri ain't the only one that's got Moab women. Everybody that's got it, they're dying. They're dying left and right. We're talking about not days. We're not talking about hours. We're talking about minutes and seconds that people are dropping dead. You hear me? And watch this. And if anything, this guy needs to be admired for what he's done. I can see somebody, he just murdered those two people. We need to, I know we're going to do something about it. He just murdered. You wouldn't do something when they were murdering you, when those two were murdering you. You wouldn't do it because what you see is a physical murder, is what you see. It's got to be something that pierces somebody, something that shoots somebody, not understanding that you have spiritually, you are murdering people with your acts of foolishness, with your acts of disobedience. You are murdering people. And you got 24,000, right? Is that what your text says? You want to explain 24,000 within that minute, within that short period of time? How in the world that happened? Here's how it happened. Who did you dishonor most? What did you say? Who can produce this? God. Because you dishonored God. Moses, won't you declare it? Moses don't need to declare this. You were in that tent of meeting for what? To get instructions, to worship God, to gain further instructions on where we are, how we're to go into the promised land. Who's in your presence in that tent? Woo, Jesus. God is in the presence of that tent. He's looking down upon them. And you do zero. You're doing nothing. So what do? I'm trying to, guys, y'all got to see it. It ain't the congregation. We're talking about 2 to 4 million people. The congregation is there. And your friend just dropped dead. Did you hear me? Folks are just dropping dead left and right. Moses ain't even got time to pray to stop this, is what I'm saying. Remember Moses was a lot of times he was praying, then he said to Aaron, go, run through the crowd, hurry up. None of this could take place. All of a sudden you're looking at death. That angel of death has walked in, Satan is saying, hallelujah, God is saying, yes, I give you permission. Kill them all. Who's going to stop God from killing them? What can stop God from killing them?
Yeah.
You become obedient. You do what's right. That's what stopped this plague. Because they were now doing what God had told them it's unacceptable. When it's something unacceptable, you don't even waste your time talking about what we're going to do is take you out and discipline you. No. You kill them on the spot. You stop that mess right then and there in a hurry. You send a message. I don't know, Acts the 5th chapter runs through my head. Ananias and Sapphira, when you came in lying, remember? You came in lying. And God said, told, watch this, and the Spirit told Peter, get out of the way. And they did what? He dropped dead. It wasn't enough because you got to stop the partner in crime. You got to stop it all. You got to kill this cancer. And so how do you kill it? The only way you can kill it. Who comes in next? Wife. Yes. Savar comes in next. And guess what? And what did you do? You love your husband. But I keep telling folks, stop that foolishness. When your man is wrong, you don't go along with it. Well, you know, this is what my husband really is what he told me to do. So, you know, this is my husband. So I'm going to go, you know, I got to go on my husband. She died. What God is saying this, when something's wrong, you correct it. You don't let it walk. You correct it right there. You have to have it.
I kind of did.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, what do you mean? Okay, give me kind of something. Then stop.
You kind of got it. One of the things that was really important was atonement. Atonement. They had to, before this plague, before God ceased to plague, the sins of the people had to be atoned for.
You better know it. Got to shut it down. So, thank you. We got somebody that shut it down. We, watch this, most people go into a panic. Oh, what do we do? Oh my God, how do we stop it? How do you stop something you don't know what it is? How do you stop something that you don't know what it is? This is a plague that's coming through. And God has said, what has happened now? What's wrong now that God is knocking these people off? Stop and thinking, I believe the plague started the minute that man brought that girl in. Yes.
And that atonement involves death.
Yes.
It involves death.
Yeah.
Atonement for anything involves death.
Yeah.
In our cases, it involves the death of the lifestyle with the actions that's part of our lifestyle. We have to make that dead.
You got it? So then watch this. Tim, the last paragraph says what?
The man and the woman showed public sexual affection before the very eyes of Moses and the people while they were weeping in prayer.
It wasn't a sexual act. It was sexual affection. You knew exactly what was going on. You don't play stupid. They hold in hands. They kissing one another. You know what's going on. They didn't produce the act of sex in front of you, but they hold in hands and kissing one another. You know what they've done. That's why they were late for the meeting. Everybody else is in the congregation. The whole congregation is at the meeting. But them, why are you late for the meeting? She was cooking something. Stop. Why are you late for the meeting? Because you did something. And then you had the nerves to walk in. A lot of times, we don't want to say this, but a lot of times the wealthy don't see God like you see God.
That's right.
Okay? I'm telling you, this is a prince, both of them. Both of them. So they're playing. Well, you know, y'all can say what you want to say, but really, you know what? When you don't realize it, when you get financially able and you're financially comfortable, guess who stops becoming more real in your life?
God.
Let me prove my point. Once you start to make the money that you want, the job says, but you have to stay. You can't go home. You have to stay and do this. You remove your obligations from God because you're looking at what? The money. And because you're looking at the money is much more important.
It comes to drive now.
Come on, Calvin.
It comes to drive, and that's exactly how Satan deceives
That's
people.
where I'm at. And that's where I'm at. And you didn't even pay it no mind. I got a good paying job, but you know it requires that I must miss studies. So he says, that's good. I got you. You didn't even know it. I got you. You didn't see it. All you could see was the green in front of you. And Satan says, I'm going to do you one better than that. Because if I cut this off, you'll go back to him. So I don't want to cut this off. So since this is what draws your attention, then what am I going to do? Then I'm going to
Increase it. You're going to make more.
I'm going to get you to make more. You're going to be all right. The more money you make, you're going to be all right. Eventually, you don't say it, watch this, verbally, But you said mentally. That almighty dollar is my almighty God. You don't even realize it. Satan is saying that I'm trying to figure out what it is that would stop you from going. Oh, that's what it was?
But you don't even have to say it, you show it. You show it. All of a sudden, you know where you know you should be.
Hello? And you have every excuse in the book.
It's okay.
You know, I would have been here, but you know, my job. If something was majorly to take place, you'd be here. You say, the hell with my job. Do you all hear what comes in front of me? I'll never forget it when I got that phone call concerning my mother. You need to get up. They live in Vegas. I'm at the job. I get a call and say, if you want to see your mother, you need to come now. And they'll tell you, I told the job, hey, I'm out. When somebody locked the cash drawer up, somebody locked up everything, I'm gone. Renee, I call her, we finna get on the road. We got to go. Whatever is your priority, you do it. Whatever is, hear me, whatever you consider top priority, you do it. That's why I keep saying we got to be careful, because our top priority should be who? God. That's right. Nothing gets in the way, and Satan will put everything that he can, that you think that you like, he will entice you with it. This is what made you stop from coming. Shoot, let me entice you with this. This works. I used to say Sunday NFL, and Mo Man was missing class because of NFL. It's amazing how the world sets things up when you know when you need to be somewhere. It's amazing how the world sets that up when you need to be somewhere. Stop and think about this. That ain't the work of God. God wouldn't dare want you out of study. God wouldn't dare want you out of worship. God wouldn't dare want you not wanting to serve, to worship Him. God wouldn't do that. And if God wouldn't do it, then you need to wake up. Then that's Satan at work. And he's enticed you. And watch this. He threw it out just to see if you bite. When you bit, he's all shoot. Then I can really continue to keep throwing this out. I can continue to keep doing this because you bit off this. So I found out it's okay to entertain. I found out it was okay for you to get involved in something else. So it's amazing how we drop God for whatever it is we want to do. He's the first one we drop.
The first one we call when we need something.
Come on, now you can say that again, okay?
The first one we call when we need something.
The very first one we call, but he's the first one we drop. You know where you need to be, but I got to wait a minute. What, something happened at the game? Oh, come on, give me a minute. And my baby's in the hospital. God, please. Now you want to pray. Now you talking about this. Not only you want to pray, but guess who else is praying? The person that's on that bed. Lord, please forgive me. Help me, Lord, help me. All of a sudden, God becomes top priority. When God says, according to Proverbs 1:22, He laughs at your calamities. You know where you should have been. You chose not to be there. You made me second. God says, watch it, second ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. It's that bad. God says, I will not be second in your life. If I can't be first, then I don't want to be none. Didn't he say it? Didn't he say it? We're getting in there, we'll get into 10th over Matthew. But we're so close to it. But that's where it's at. When do you keep me number one? Now, watch this. And you say you are a Christian. You say you have reached the level of maturity in Christ, and Satan says you want to bet. Let me show you. Let me give you something you like.
Yes.
And that's right. Let me throw something at you. I like what you said. Let me throw something at you. Let me see. Do you bite off it? Or do you make me number one? Do you bite on it? Or do you say, even to the job, hey guys, I have to go. You know what? I'll be, if nothing else, the studying, but an hour and a half, I'll be back, if nothing else. But I got to go. When do you put him number one? Now what you say is, oh wait, I missed the study, so what I'll do is call the pastor and ask him, so well, how'd it go? Or I'll call somebody that was there and ask them, how'd it go? Hear me? And God is saying, you don't need to know how it went. Because you just shown me I'm number two in your life. I told you it's going to be a sad day. A whole lot of folks think they're on their way to heaven. A whole lot of folks. And Satan is, watch us, he is aware that we're in the last days. He's aware of it. If anybody knows, it's him. And he is saying, what do I need to dangle in front of you?
That's right.
What carrot do I need to wave in front of you to make you miss your studies, to miss worship? Oh, I ain't just talking about Sunday mornings, Sunday evenings. Where are you? If God is number one, where are you? Did you hear me? If God is number one, where are you? And he said, no. Told you it's going to be a lot of folks going to get their feelings hurt when this is all said and done. Well, Lord, I was, don't worry about it. And God said, and I was too. I watched you. I watched you place me 1 minute number one, and then the next minute make me number two. Just that quick. James 1 says, James 2 says, God 1 says, God doesn't like a double-minded man. What do you think double-minded means?
Mirror and then you walk away from it.
It's one, oh no, that's double-minded is 1 minute I do something and the next minute I do this. That's double-minded. 1 minute I'm serving you, the next minute I'm serving him. Don't get the two confused. Because it says God also doesn't like a wavering faith. So he says 1 minute double-minded, then he says a wavering. So there is a difference. A waver is, double-minded is, and meaning what I did today was sufficient. What you going to do to this evening? That's it. That's double-minded. That's double-minded. What are you going to do? You're supposed to be the same thing you did that morning. Serving God. That's
always.
What'd you say?
I said it says, I was just reading in James when it says, but
That's it.
let him ask in faith with no doubting, for he who doubts is like a wave of the sea driven and tossed by the wind. For let not the man suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man.
You see that?
Unstable in all his ways.
Trying to tell you, it ain't just here. It ain't just here. What'd you say, Dwayne?
Pray for something and then you take it back.
Ain't that something? It's just that simple. Praise his holy name. Lord, help me. And then you go. I like that too. When you cursing someone. You know, I'm a baby, it's me and you, and then she say something or he say something. That's double-minded. We got to be careful, guys. We know one man that was not double-minded. He's called Aaron's grandson.
Phenos.
That's right, Phenos. He's not double-minded. Everybody else is thinking this thing out.
Well, he was double-minded. He killed two people.
Lord. I said it's two people. You can get him now.
That was a double.
You get him now, right?
That was a double shot.
Hey, the bus.
Yeah, right here.
Roll him down. Wrote 2 times about
Well,
it.
2 times.
2 times.
I still love you, little dog.
But stop and think about it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so we better cut that mess out. I'm so glad you found it. We better cut that mess out.
Wait,
I love God today, but tomorrow,
can't find it.
not even tomorrow,
Tonight,
only a few hours, and we check out. Because we have other agendas.
after we leave.
And God already knew, here's what's even deeper. Why do you think that
You okay?
worship you went to the
Okay.
very first one? Why do you think it was okay? God may not have accepted that one. He knows your heart. You know what I'm saying? I know what you're going to do later on. I know you ain't coming back. So your worship is, the first one is what? Unacceptable. I don't accept your first worship. Huh? Why would you do that, Lord? Because watch. Because watch. See how serious this gets? See how serious this gets? I've had some brothers say, sometimes it's rough. I've even had some sisters say, it's rough sometimes getting in here. You know, I could just make that turn and go on back to the house. But you're stable enough to say, nah, for a minute to say, you had me. I'm going. I'm not going to change or stop. Watch this. So then, watch this. You were reading, Tiffany?
The people were praying at the entrance to the tabernacle, so this meant that the sexual affection and stimulating pleasure took place right there at the
I'm
tabernacle.
trying to tell you.
The Israelite man brought the immoral woman to meet his parents in the midst of the prayer meeting. Obviously, his parents were involved in the prayer meeting.
Did you hear me?
This young
That ain't
man,
what's important, that they pray.
this young
What's
man,
important is that mama and daddy get to see my new home. That's what's important. She's at the top.
page
Four.
4,
Four
at
at
the
the
top
top.
paragraph.
4 at the top.
This young man had no more reverence for the things of God than to show public sexual affection in the presence of God's people.
The last sentence of the first paragraph.
Did you see it?
Keep going.
Now I'm gonna get us back home. So who was reading 11?
10.
10.
10?
Yeah, that's after the 24th.
Go ahead, 10 says what?
The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, on the priest has turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy.
Watch what God does. 12.
Wherefore, says, Behold, I give to you him my covenant of peace.
Lord have mercy. Give it to who?
To Phinehas.
And that's something?
Yes.
That's who I give it to. Wait, the congregation.
Phinehas.
Phinehas.
Wait, no, Moses.
Phineas.
Isn't that something?
How you pronounce it?
I said it. I put it up
Phineas.
here. It's going to read
That's how I
completely
said
different from
Phineas.
all y'all.
Phineas?
I said it. No, y'all believe I'm saying it wrong, so I'm going to put it up there. Let you see.
Phinehas.
Let you see. I'm going to let you see. I'm saying it wrong. So I'm going to let all you that think I'm wrong.
Oh,
Hear me.
Phineas.
Well, how you say it?
It's Phineas.
Phineas?
It ain't that easy. I'm going
It's
to show you.
Phineas.
It ain't but 2 words. I'm going to show you. Come on.
Phinehas?
The E is long.
Phinehas.
Everybody can say it different.
Phinehas,
I'm asking you.
you close to it.
That's good.
How do you
Five?
pronounce
Say it
Aeneas.
again. He said five.
What?
See how do you pronounce it?
How do you pronounce it?
You got one of those.
Five.
I'll do it again.
What is it?
Five?
And false.
False.
That's you though. That's you talking.
That's you.
That's
That's Greek.
not you. Oh.
In false.
Five?
And
In five.
false.
Let me see.
And
Fox.
That's
So
good.
the PH, so it's just starting off
It
with the
drops the
I
PH, it becomes silent, and he's saying in Foss.
in
That's
Fox.
what he's saying it is.
So the P is
Phineas,
silent.
yeah.
Huh?
I was
P is
right.
silent.
And the H
English,
too.
Phineas.
it's
That's in
Phineas.
Foss.
On Fox.
It's
That's in
Phineas.
Greek.
That's
Phineas.
Greek.
Watch it.
But-
Bob, hold on.
Phineas.
Don't you get, that's Koine Greek I got on that board. Don't you get your Greek, which is not Koine,
No, this is not Greek. That's just English. They're doing just.
then you won't get it
American. Okay,
right. Jamal, this is Koine Greek, you won't get it right.
okay.
This is Koine. This is a language that God did when He created the Bible, and it doesn't exist anymore. Big difference. Because you can go to someone that actually speaks Greek, and they will say it totally opposite of what it really is.
Yeah, that's
But us just
Yeah,
looking at
so I
it.
said, yeah, I said the same thing. That's why I said, nope, I got to get to the original.
Without the Greek, we.
So I've got to
pronounce
the original.
Phineas.
And my original, by the way, is coming out of the Strong.
Phineas.
okay,
That's what it is.
Phineas.
It's in Foss, is what it is.
Huh?
His name is in Foss.
Okay.
But we can't,
The English way.
but we got to just do it how
Phineas.
Let me say, Clooty Doody.
Okay, Hollywood.
So I call you Clooty Doody.
Yeah, you can.
But you see what I'm saying? You wouldn't want me to call you out of your name. So why would you want us to call you? But you see what I'm saying? But you see what I'm saying? That's what I said. I think I said that Sunday. We have to be careful. Remember when I said, I called the girl Gordo? Gordo. I called her Gordo, and I didn't know what it meant. I thought I was being nice. And she said, and she looked at me, she was mad. Thank God everybody was around me laughing so that she knew that they had did this. Because I don't know what I'm saying. Can you imagine if I had been by myself and said that to her? You see what I'm saying? So it does matter how we say names. It really does. It's best not to say them if you can't say them. Or find out what is original. Find out what the original. And watch this. And you can do that. I think you can print and put that in your phone too, Strong's. And it'll give you the Greek. And it'll give you the Greek word.
The Koine Greek word?
It's called Koine. Yeah. Koine Greek. That's what you want. You want its original. You don't want, I used to know that too, because I was with a young lady that actually spoke Greek. And when she started to say things, because I was learning it, and when she, you said it's so different, because I'm learning it to mean that she says, she looked at what I was and she says, but that's not the Greek that we speak. I said, then what Greek is that? She said, I don't know, but that's not the Greek that we speak. I says, okay, then it makes sense. That's Koine Greek. So it makes sense. Well, watch this, guys. We got the idea. Y'all can call it Fina Haas, Fina Holes, and whatever you want to call it. But the bottom line is in Foss. That's what it is. Well, watch this tomorrow. I ain't mad at it because I got it now. I won't have it tomorrow. Okay? but anyway, watch this. So, come on, Tim.
Because of his zeal for the honor of the Lord.
In Foss.
In Foss was given the special reward of a lasting priesthood for himself and his descendants.
In Foss.
In Foss knew nothing about this reward before he acted, so his motive wasn't selfish. He was motivated by his zeal for the honor of God and the authority of his law. In Foss,
I know, right? What's
In
that?
Foss went with Moses when Israel attacked the Midianites. So
That's
he
what I
wasn't
told you.
afraid
This
of
is
a
what I
battle.
wanted you all don't have it now, because we haven't gotten there.
So
But
he
I put
wasn't
it here so that you can see in Numbers 31, 5, and 6, they're going to go after the who? The Midianites. Remember, they're going into the land. Right. Remember the Canaanites, the Midianites, the Amorites. He's going to take, he's telling them to take all of them out. And why do you take them all out? Because You don't like foreign women because you don't like international women, because you don't like interracial marriage? Is that why you're doing this, God? Because a black man ain't got no business marrying a white woman? Because a white woman ain't got no business marrying a black man? What is it, Lord? Why are you doing this? No, it ain't sin. Why are you doing this? Why are you disapproving of this?
Because they don't worship the same God.
That's it. That's it. It's a God issue. It's in Numbers 20.
Do not believe it.
Have no
Other
other gods before me. It ain't got nothing to do with the complexion. If anybody was here with me, I'm trying to look and see who's with me at the beginning when I did Genesis. I know Ethel was here.
We was all here
When-
for Genesis.
okay, when I did Genesis, when I explained what the color of your skin,
The regions.
when it was built around
Where you
simply the location that you were in. That's all it was.
Right.
Africans, darkness.
That's it, because it was where they were. The sun beat down on them, so you got darker skin. God made it that way so it would protect you. That's all it was. It ain't got nothing to do because you're more superior. It ain't got nothing to do with it, but this is what has happened. And so what do you have? I'm still looking at Revelation 19. It's got a lot to do with it too. But what are you saying? All he's saying is this. It has nothing to do with superiority. It's what mankind has done. At one time, your nation of people, which would be your Egyptians, what do you think their nationality was?
They were African.
They were blacks.
They were African.
What were they doing? What were they doing? You thought it was a white man that came up with slavery.
They were making slaves.
What do you think they were? Making slaves. History simply repeats itself. And eventually, God lets it live long enough, it will repeat itself. Another nation will rise, and another nation will die down. We can't see it, but or maybe we might, I don't know. But what do you mean? Watch this. The thing, though, is history is repeating itself because of our stiff neck and stubbornness.
All right.
Let me help you. The book has been written how long?
Over 2,000.
Over 2,000 years. So why is it so new?
To so many.
So why is it so new? When it was written well over 2,000 years ago. Why is it we're repeating the same acts that they repeated? You had those that didn't want to go to worship. We're repeating it. You hear me? You had those that lacked the study or didn't want to be a part of it. We're repeating it. Paul made the statement in your Hebrews, when you ought to be on meat. You're still on
milk.
Why? Because you refuse to grow. You don't want to take God's word. Because if what happens is, if you take God's word, it means you got to change.
You got to do something.
And people don't like change. You start to mention things that they disagree with, and we'll get better than this. Did you hear me? People can't stand change. And watch this. So what does it do? It continues to repeat itself. But watch this. What does God do? God takes that remnant. That's what I'm talking about. That remnant that says, I don't mind, slap me upside the head. I don't mind, beat me down. I don't mind. I don't care what you do. I am going to serve you. That's that remnant. That's that remnant that produces its own stubbornness. Where are you going to worship? Well, you know, it's raining pretty hard to worship. I have an umbrella to worship. Where are you going? Well, wait a minute, I don't understand it. Aren't you tired? Very tired. I'll take some 5 hours, but I'm going to worship. You're set on living for God. You start to even look into your own closet of things that nobody knows about you. And you can either let them remain, or you can take them out and put them away. I don't know about you all, but that's where I am in my life. I'm finally in the closet now and saying, now you know this is no good. And you know that's not healthy. It's time to get rid of that junk. You hear me? Our folks always think, well, you know, Brother Thompson, he likes it clean. He's just going to clean up. And Renee is forever screaming, oh, don't throw that away. Don't throw this away. Well, I'm a lot out of those closets. I'm now into some spiritual closets.
All right.
And saying, let me get on with my spiritual closet. What is it that I'm not doing that God would want me to do? And watch this. And it doesn't matter how I feel. It's what's right. Do it. You just do it. You remove these emotions and you just do it. My time has expired, guys. We will stop there, and then the 26th, we'll be in the 26th. And I already got it ready. I would pass it on, but I know some of y'all ain't gonna.
Oh, you gonna throw me under the bus? Okay, now remember who you gonna sleep with tonight.